the rumor of possibly recasting T'Challa was
Mhm.
at this point. It's got to be like a few weeks ago, 3 4 weeks ago at this point.
Yep.
Um,
Roughly, yeah.
and then since then, I believe earlier this week, Nate Moore has come out and kind of said it's not true. I think you have the exact quote what he said. Yeah,
he said he was talking to the AV Club, via comic book. He said the truth is there's no truth to these rumors. Never say never to anything. We haven't really had a lot of creative conversations with Ryan Coogler yet because he's finishing the film Sinners, which comes out later this year. It's like plug. And then he says, we'll get into this later, but everything you read online is not true. If for no other reason than we just haven't started working on it. Sure, we'll no doubt get a new Black Panther, but I think most of us would probably agree that the MCU role of T'Challa should belong to Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah. So, but he kind of left it open a little bit more.
I hate him. I'm at this point right now with Nate Moore. Like, shut the fuck up. I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't, because like I talk about comic books, right? I literally, there's probably 2 comic books written by he who shall not be named that I don't have in my Black Panther collection. Besides, I have all the story. I know all of it. I have the Fantastic Four. I have the Avengers ones. I have all of it. I am a huge fan. I have posters all over my wall. I have every action figure. I have all of it. I love it. I love it. But if they continue with this whole thing to child, I'm at a point where I'm just going to say, I might not be able to ride with it anymore, man. I'll be done with the MCU part of it. I will still read all the books and still collect everything from that and know the storylines and understand, what was the whole point Jack Kirby creating T'Challa, in 1966? What happened? What was so important in 1966, guys? The civil rights movement. Why would you do that? That's why you bring T'Challa in and why he made him so great. And then we had people like Hudlin and Priest, and that ran with it, and made these great in 88 and 98 these great series of books and storylines and coats and like you start seeing how it really formed it more. And it's like I feel like he didn't read not one of those motherfuckers. Like he doesn't understand about him at all, or understand how it matters,
how important it is
to a young black boy like me, who at the time I was just a little nerdy boy trying to follow his father around, going to the barbershop. There's a comic book store right next door. Seeing someone who was black over there picking up a comic book that it stuck with me. It stuck with me, right? And that's why it still matters to me. So hearing him say this stuff, not understanding, and why the fuck is he even talking about debunking rumors where our voice could lift it up, could lift up this thing and make people realize. Ever since the further we get away from Chadwick's untimely death, the more people are starting to get on the bandwagon of recasting, understanding why it's important to do this.
They should have done it from the beginning.
He's so fucking talking. Why? Stop. Let you go. Leave Marvel.
Didn't you quit?
Like, dude, why are you holding on for this Black Panther 3 to burn this shit to the ground?
Apparently.
And
that's what it seems like.
And then Tank said something, it's like, hey, but look, people are going to see this and then they're going to not go, right? And it was let's say Black Panther only the third movie makes $400 million. But then that's a self-fulfilling prophecy because that's what they thought at the beginning. Hey, they're not going to go support this movie. So then you made it happen. And then you're going to tell me that it's our fault for not supporting it. Me and Anzo had this discussion all the time, Like, you need to support black movies, right? But when they do it wrong, why should I go see a movie that I don't appreciate?
Yep.
That I don't like. So just because it's a black movie, I have to go do it. It's hard. But then once again, if one doesn't make money, they said, look, they don't support it at all either. We get rid of this black superhero idea. and it's mind-boggling. And it's a shit show, and I feel like it just all starts with this motherfucking Nate Moore. He's killing me. And the more I read about him, the more frustrating I get. Just between that and the King and all this stuff that they just this has been a terrible last week.
Yeah. Well, I saw Chill posted something over on his X profile, because Jeff Snyder is the one that kind of came out with this rumor, with the scoop that they're gonna recast, and they talked about it on John Roca's channel, who's another like movie guy, and kind of he calls him out. He's like, he goes, so what is it, like, you're not gonna recast, but never say never? Like, which part of what you said am I supposed to believe? And that's kind of the talking out of both sides of your mouth kind of thing that a lot of these producers tend to do, especially somebody like Nate Moore, where the first movie, he's so important and we have to have him and blah, 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 and said all these things that Brian basically said. But then as soon as the actor dies, all that goes out the window because Chadwick is more important than the character.
No, the character's bigger than the actor.
100%.
I don't know why they're writing themselves into a corner this badly and be insisting on it ending with him. It's not like it's not like other people didn't play the Joker after Heath Ledger died.
Dude, they're coming out with a new Superman movie.
They
just did the Christopher Reeves.
They just did a Christopher Reeve documentary. The role didn't end when he had his accident, and then when he ultimately passed away. I don't know why they would write themselves into a corner like that. It seemed way too reactionary with what happened with Chadwick Boseman. You just threw it all down the shitter. When you very clearly had plans for this character to be an integral figure in the MCU for the next 10 X amount of years, just like Captain America and Iron Man were. Why are you so goddamn insistent on just throwing that down the shitter due to circumstance? You recast William Hurt when he fucking died with Harrison Ford. And
no one bats an eye.
And no one bats
an eye about that.
Everyone's just rolling with it.
Everyone's hyped. Everyone's hyped to get to see Red Hawk.
Yeah,
they get to see the next level of this character. You know what I mean? So
Chadwick Boseman said numerous times in interviews that he himself thought the role was bigger than him, and after his time on this earth was over, or if he ever stopped playing the role for whatever reason, he wanted it to carry on. So that's why I found Wakanda Forever so disrespectful. And they, it's more or less like they just, forewent everything that they had previously said, everything that the actor himself said, because they wanted to capitalize off of his death. Say what you will, the cast members were hurting, that Ryan Coogler was hurting, whoever was hurting, and they just wanted to pay tribute to him. To an extent, absolutely, and I don't want to take that away from him. But don't bullshit around and say you weren't capitalizing off of his death to an extent. And now look where you are. A very a very fruitful opportunity to carry on with the character, and a very you obviously had big plans for him moving forward. Only to do away with that, and now that puts everything as far as the MCU goes in a big quandary.
And it's so funny. I think I know I'm going to say this, and I'm going to kind of get out the way, let you guys continue to talk. But Chadwick Boseman, like when he talks about Denzel, so we know Denzel's very, very instrumental in getting Black Panther made, between him and Wesley Snipes and pushing all this stuff and everything. And he said stuff like, he was talking about how great and how honored he was and turned down roles and all this stuff. And then he said something like, Now I want you to sit back after you've done all this stuff and let who has watered be watered. Now that you've done all this, sit back in and see the fruits of your labor and how things continue because of the seeds you planted. And we had a chance to let Chadwick plant a seed and see what grows from it. And instead, we said, that tree got to be chopped down because it's only going to be one. It represents a person who died, so there's only one. I hate that argument. There only could be one argument. It's my least favorite. I mean, literally hate there could only be one argument.
Me too.
It belittles every other person in the world. Yet that's what you want to run with. There can only be one. I'm frustrated. I'm sad, and I'm running out of fire for it. Like, it's like, what are you doing? Why am I fighting this fight against you?
Yeah,
why are you choosing to do this shit?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the there can only be one argument, unless we're talking about Highlander. We can get away with it there.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, even that that's not even true because they did the TV show and the TV show was a different character.
It was a different character.
And there could be only one there, and while there was two, so but even they're doing a reboot for that. They're doing a reboot for that. So Henry Cavill is gonna be the new Highlander. So it's like and it's not like is that gonna disrespect the original? Because the original is like a classic, so you give it space to be compared and let fans enjoy different takes on it and let a new audience start to enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's the same thing with what they're doing with William Hurt. Like we got to enjoy him in all of the early MCU stuff. He passed away. But the character is very important because he becomes the Red Hulk, and Red Hulk has some cool stuff that happens. Why not do that with T'Challa?
And they recast William Hurt while his corpse was still fresh.
Oh, super quick.
It's, to me, the argument is almost like Sidney Poitier saying, "Hey, he's such a good actor. We don't need anyone else doing anything he does. We don't need another great actor because we got Sidney Poitier. We don't need anyone else because we have Denzel Washington. We don't need to make another movie about this because he did so well. No one else could touch it. Like that argument doesn't hold water for me. I think that's the worst. It's the worst.
Yeah.
If it's a character, let the character live.
Yeah.
And especially if it matters to people. Especially in this country with the people that care about it, why wouldn't you just let it be? I respect you taking the time, but if he tells you, hey, you plant a seed, you water it, and you see the fruits of your labor, and you sit back and see that it's good and how it's better because of what you've done.
Yep.
If he's saying that to you, then why would you choose not to?
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like you become selfish with the person, not even the character. You become selfish with the person where Chadwick means more to me, like Ryan Coogler. So therefore you guys it didn't mean that much to you because you didn't work with him. You only saw him on screen, but like, you're almost like gatekeeping, his greatness, it's like,
and
it never sat right with me.
Well, yeah, and this goes without saying. This isn't to detract what Chadwick Boseman's very, very good work in the role, but the fact of the matter is they had big plans for this character moving forward. To unceremoniously do away with all of that the way that they did, disservice to the actor, disservice to the character.
It's disservice to us.
And yeah, and it was just way too reactionary. They didn't they went about it the wrong. They are going about it the wrong way
continually.
And it seems like they're going out of their way to do it. Not only
100%. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wonder if this last phase would have been better with a leader, because this whole phase you didn't have any leaders,
Yeah,
and
it was
having
all
him,
over the place.
yeah, exactly.
Wakanda Forever derailed everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And not having T'Challa around to
lead
and
everything that you need,
maybe try to keep people together, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just think that's
it's short-sighted, it's selfish, it's not the way you should run anything. No one else would do that, but we have to do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's gotten to a point right now. I was just telling the guys, I'm reading this, Milestone Initiative. So what Milestone is doing, they're trying to bring back Milestone, right? So they're finding they don't have the same creators that they had before. So what they're doing, they're going to younger creators, younger Black creators, and they're bringing them all in and they give them a chance to write this story and come up with these great storylines. And this it has like 10 stories, I think it is. 12 short stories with different characters in it, bringing the right character, these type of characters to life, and bringing a new level, a new age group into this writing of stuff. And I thought that was genius, right? Because they're bringing the characters to life and they care about the actual characters. And I was reading, I was like, man, this sounds really good. And then I look at the end and I was like, who wrote this? And I was like, oh, it's Hudlin, who's wrote 70 or 41 Black Panther comics. Like it's funny that he's now doing the DC stuff because they care about. Reginald Hudlin is a great writer, and I'm enjoying this. And is it going to cause me to lose all the stuff that all the comic books, all the storylines, the things that I really have from my childhood that made me want to stand up and do great things? Am I gonna lose that? Am I won't go somewhere else and look for it?
Yeah.
I might have to. That just might be where we are now.
And DC's right there. DC's right there, and they're bringing back the Milestone thing, because I heard about the initiative thing. It was like late last year. I remember seeing like little posters for it and stuff like that. So I thought that was like pretty cool. And I remember hearing the one creator of Milestone, the one who's still alive, him and some other people that were trying to bring it back, and they were talking about like the announcement of the return of Milestone. So I'm like, oh, that's cool, and like you said, they're going with younger people. So I haven't been to the comic book store like in a long time, so I might have to go pick that up.
Well, what's it called? Shadow. I think what's the one I was reading? Shadow Cabinet. Shadow Cabinet. This is Milestone Universe. Shadow Cabinet. That one was already, I think we're on the third one. The fourth one's supposed to come out next week. That's a really good run already. I'm enjoying it a lot. But this is showing that new talent could do different stories, and they kind of all mesh together, and it was good. But once again, they understand the characters. They need to push the characters. You don't let them just stay stagnant. If someone cares about them, let them be. Give them a voice and to a new generation. You don't have to just say, well, we already did that comic book, so we're not going to do it again. We're going to let this character. Hey, someone already wrote it. Someone was already the guy, so we don't need to continue to do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
All the writers are gone, so that doesn't matter anymore. So we don't need to go ahead and follow up anymore. No, let's not let it die. Let's bring it in. Let's keep it going. Let's let it be a seed that sprouts more and more vegetation, like that. All of a sudden, you have a forest of stuff instead of just letting this one seed be it.
Yeah,
that's all I got. That's
all. Yeah. But we'll it's until it's set in stone, we don't know. But just him coming out and just not even giving the fans a moment of like excitement, because when it came out, like it was all over Twitter. It was trending again.
It was trending,
Recast T'Challa was trending again for like a day or two. So they see it. 100% they see it. And whether you support him or not, E-Man is still one of the bigger voices of the recast movement. you know, and he even talked about it too, you know, how, and he's still recast. So yeah. And more people. John Campea is jumping. You know, I'm gonna say jumping. He was always on the bandwagon, but you know, he made videos about it recently. You know, when it came out, he's like, it should do it. You know, there's that video I think E-Man put out the other day, or yet today, I think, with Chris Carr. You know, she's like one of the co-hosts on the Campea show. You know, and it's her talking about it because I know her and E-Man had her and E-Man had a conversation about it because she wasn't, and then you know, went on board. Even somebody like FD Signifier, because he believed kind of what that narrative was, that like, oh, the recast people just hate women, you know. And FD Signifier had a conversation, a video with E-Man, and they talked about the importance of this character. And even FD Signifier changed his mind. You know, he's on the recast train now. So it's like people are starting to realize, like, oh shit, this isn't what all the anti-recasters are talking about, how we all hate women and we don't want to see Shuri. I'm like, no, that's not what we're saying.
It's not even that.
Yeah.
No.
You know, that's just because we say we like waffles doesn't mean we hate pancakes. You know, it's that analogy. You know, I mean, it's like we want to see Shuri do well. We want to see her be her own character and not just being a shadow of somebody else. You know, so yeah. It's just it's a fight that I think where he's got to keep fighting, you know. And whenever somebody says something positive, we gotta promote it, and whenever somebody says negative, we gotta call them out on it, you know. And usually the ones saying negative are, you know,
is Marvel.
The Marvel, you know, the calls coming from inside the house, you know. It's
y'all hang on the phone, just shut up.
It's usually Nate Moore, you know, because Coogler hasn't really said anything as of late, like since Wakanda Forever. So
he's kept quiet.
Which he's the director. He's got other projects and other stuff going on. So you know, well, like I said, we'll see.
Yeah, it is what it is.
But cool. Let's see what you guys are in chat saying.
And thanks for listening to our rant, because it's just
I know
it hurt. It hurt a lot.